Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the 3 best ways to improve your AI code today. And not only that, I'll be giving real life examples that I actually ran into just last week to help make sure you don't make the same mistakes that I did. If you're ready to get started, then stay tuned. Let's learn together. Now you might be thinking that I'm about to give away all 3 of the tips at the same time, if you can see that tiny text over there. But hang out to the end of the video and I'll give you one more bonus tip that is a real world example. So getting started, make sure you actually read the code that AI gives you. If you don't read the code, you may not actually be able to understand what's going on. And if you don't understand what's going on, you can't maintain it and you can't update it, you can't fix it if something goes wrong. So you always want to make sure that you read the code. The second thing you want to always do is you want to check the output. If, for example, you just trust that the AI code works, maybe even the test pass, but you don't actually run it in production or run it at least on your own box, then you would be very upset when you actually ship it to production thinking everything's working and then finding out, oh man, I can't believe I did that, and now we've got a bug, and now we've got to go figure out what happened and where do we need to go to fix it. And lastly, you can use AI to fix its own errors. So a lot of times AI will create the errors, which is not great in the first place, that it's confidently wrong on a regular basis. Like that's probably not a good thing to trust very fully. But if AI made the mistake, sometimes it can fix the mistake, sometimes it can't. And sometimes if you use a different AI program, say for example, if you wrote it with Gemini, sometimes ChatGPT can actually fix it and fix it better than Gemini could. So those are some examples that we can use to actually fix what's going on with our code. Now, I told you that I was going to show you some real world examples for what happened to me just this past week. So a few months back, I made a video on how AI is really cool, and I was able to transform a React code base into a SwiftUI app. Now, if you haven't seen that video, don't worry, I'll put a link down in the description below, and you can check that video out once you're done with this one. The important thing is, I actually did more than one calculator for that same client, and that one calculator happened to work really, really well. However, none of the other calculators worked nearly as well, even though I was using the exact same method throughout the whole thing. And I forgot to read the code. I forgot to check the output, but I did let AI try to fix its own errors. So let's go over a little bit of what that looked like in real life scenario. Now, luckily, all of this code was only pushed to test flight, so it wasn't actually released to production, but the client did see it. So that was the downside. And luckily, this was just a side project that he was doing and that I was doing on my own free time. No money changed hands, which is kind of why I was a lot more lax about this one than I normally would be. I normally would not have done that. I normally would have written the test, normally would have checked the output. But because this was just something I was doing on the side for a friend in my spare time, I wasn't too terribly worried because I knew he was going to run it and let me know what happened. So to clarify, that's kind of how this came about. So as you can see here, we've got a 401k calculator, and the screenshot doesn't look half bad. But if we go down to the next screenshot, we can see that we've got a table down here, and we're truncating some of the numbers in the table, which is that bad? A little bit, arguably. If you really needed to if you really needed to see the numbers, you could rotate the phone. The table would be fine. It would display everything correctly. However, if you use large accessible font sizes, then you couldn't read this table at all. So that was something that me as a human that I missed. Now, if you also took that same app and changed it over into dark mode, you could see that some of the text transitioned over into a dark mode text, and some of the text didn't. You could also see that none of these background colors actually transitioned over to a dark mode color, or what you would think of as a dark mode color. And even if we scroll down and look at the table, you can see it really didn't work out very well. So those are some of the examples from a real world, real life scenario that I ran into whenever I just trusted my own AI code. Now, luckily, this was just a small app that I was building for a single individual on the side, so there wasn't any harm done, no big deal. And I'm actually in the process of cleaning it up now And I'm even getting rid of this table because I don't really like a table in a mobile scenario. I think a chart is way better for this type of data in a mobile scenario. But that brings us to our last point, our bonus tip, which is you still own the code and you are still responsible for all that code that you deliver. Even if you didn't write it, it's still on you to find it and fix it. Now, if you're like me and you've done something silly like that before, feel free to share it in the comments down below. And if you got value from this video, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you do leave a comment, just be nice about it. That's all I ask. Thanks. Have a great day.